Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second coaching call of the DigiEduHack coaching call series. For those of you who didn't join last time or missed the first video of our 12-week series, we are doing DigiEduHack 23 coaching calls weekly over a time span of 12 weeks to let all of our hosts that are hosting a local hackathon in November under the DigiEduHack umbrella. We are helping you during 12 weeks to craft your challenge, find sponsors, get participants, every step that needs to be covered all the way until your hackathon dates. If you missed the first video where we discussed what DigiEduHack is, what it's like being a host, what kind of resources can you find from the DigiEduHack team side, and so on, you can maybe watch that first. You're also free to stay here and go back to that one, but might be a good idea to check that out and join us later. All of these videos will be recorded, so you are in no trouble if you watch that first. I said it last time, and I'll say it again. All of the videos we are creating here for you will be recorded and saved in this YouTube playlist, so you can always come back to them. All the relevant links, the slide decks that we will go through, etc., will be saved in the description here under as well, so you can get to them easily, and from there you can click all the important links. If you want to take another way, you can also find all the materials and the recordings through the DigiEduHack website as well. If you have any questions, you can write them here in the chat and we will answer them as we go. Or if you want to ask something later, if you're watching the recording after, you can also contact us at contact@digieduhack.com over email. I will share my screen and then we can get started with today's session. So the second coaching call, as I promised last time, we will focus on crafting or improving your hackathon challenge. If you haven't created a challenge at all, or you haven't registered as a host, you can take this as a what to think of when creating your challenge. If you have already crafted a challenge and maybe even published it, you can go back and do some tweaks and edits if you get some inspiration from this call. Today we will go through, first of all, again, the annual theme. As you might remember, the DigiEduHack project is going to be a 3-year project where we have digital education hackathons every year in 3 years. And we will go through the annual theme of the 2023 edition a bit more in detail. We will also go through the 9, or actually 8+1, you'll see why, challenge categories that you can choose and choose from which angle and which category to approach the DigiEduHack. We'll also go through what to think of when you're putting together your challenge topic and finalizing that. What are the target outcomes of your own local hackathon and how do you present those in the challenge? Who is your target audience? And finally, what kind of prizes can you or your stakeholders or partners or you together provide or offer to your participants? So you might know this already, but the annual theme of the DigiEduHack 2023 is people at the center of digital education. As we know, we live in a very, very digital-centered and technology-centered era right now, and technology has transformed, as almost anything else as well, education. We have online classes, we have different learning apps that are gamified, Students don't need to go to the libraries anymore to receive books. They can get everything online. We have ebooks, we have podcast books, and you can listen to those as well. You register to your schools, your courses, your classes online, so on, so on. So basically, it is important to have digital skills in this day of this era of learning and education. But even though technology is at the center, or some might think, education is still about the people, the learners and the educators, of course. And we want to put people at the core of digital education. This means that we take the person into consideration when creating these technical solutions or technical experiences, digital experiences for the people that we are educating or the teachers. So when you are creating your challenge and you want to meet this theme, put yourself in the shoes of the user that you are focusing on. Is it the educator? Is it the learner? Is it someone else in the education ecosystem? So put yourself in those shoes and think, what would this person need for them to be able to give or use digital tools the best way? Yes. There we go. You might remember that we have a lot of challenge categories for you, and that's only because we want to make this as inclusive as possible. So there is a challenge for every host, and you know this by now. We are organizing several local hackathons, and I mean a lot of local hackathons during the same hackathon days. From the 6th to 13th November. So we are offering you a great variety of challenges so that everyone can find something for themselves. The first category, and we went through this a bit in the last video, and I'm not going to go through them that much in detail now either, so you can get familiar and so on your own time with those challenges that you now feel connected to. The first category is access and availability. How can we break down the barriers that prevent equal access to digital infrastructure and teaching equipment? And how can we empower everyone to thrive in the digital age? So if you decide to take on this challenge or this category, you can think of solutions or challenges that give everyone the same access. Everyone can use tools, everyone can get access to them. They are set up so that everyone has the availability to learn and to actually use them. Maybe not the same tools for all, but to find an inclusive environment. And also it might be a scary thing to actually use these digital tools if you're not used to that environment. So how can we empower everyone to take the step and get familiar with this digital age and digital environment? The second challenge category is learning spaces and pedagogies. And here we can focus on how we can decide more innovative, impactful, and fun learning methods and opportunities. So taking it a step further from the first category, since again, we want everyone to be a part of the future of education and the future of digital education. So what kind of tools, what kind of apps or programs or platforms could be designed to make learning fun, innovative, but also better and improved and so on. The third challenge category that you can focus on is the learning experience, which of course is at the center because that's what education is all about. So how can digital tools improve the individual learning experience and also strengthen community management? So here you can decide if if you want to take an angle from your challenge to make it focusing on the individual learning or then maybe on the larger scale. But here again, we try to put the person and their experience in the center and use digital tools to empower that and improve that. Fourth challenge category, individual competences. Here you can focus on how we can foster confident and effective use of digital technologies for all, because obviously you need a confident, effective, and a safe use of digital technologies for every individual to be able to thrive in this era. And it doesn't matter their age, their background, their skills that they are starting with. You need basic digital skills in this time and environment. So you can also focus on that angle. The next category that you can focus on is organizational capability, where you take it again up a notch and not focus so much on the individual person, but on the larger scales. Of course, not only people on a personal level use technologies and are in need of technologies when it comes to education, but also the organizations themselves. You can think of maybe schools or universities or any other organizations that are somehow related and connected to education. You can think of how we can promote digital first thinking in organizations and making the best of those opportunities offered by technologies. How can you integrate digital tools in your organizations? This can be of maybe designing new curriculums or deliveries or education spaces for your students or however the case may be. Our sixth category is well-being in digital education, which of course is important. Usually, or not usually, but one category of people that we are educating is the young population, kids and youth. And it's important to make them feel empowered and encouraged to actually use these digital tools and thrive in this era of education. How can you promote well-being in digital education? What does well-being in digital education look like? This is also a topic area that you can focus on in your own hackathon. Next, seventh challenge area, emerging technologies for education. If you want to go a bit more detailed tech level, you can choose either to focus in a whole on how emerging technologies can impact future learning and how can educators lead that change. You can also here focus on, let's say, XR or AI or some specific emerging technology if you wish, but if that's where your head's at, then this challenge would be for you. The eighth challenge category is data-driven education. Since we're going digital, we're also collecting data, and your focus can stay or be approached and put on how we can better collect, analyze, and exploit data in education to make a better learning experience and learn about your students' learning styles, preferences, so on, and then be able to give out a personalized learning experience for different types of students. If after these 8 categories you still feel that none of these are completely relevant for you, it's no problem. You don't have to fit in these boxes. We still have room for other ideas, and we have a few options on how to go forward here. So if you feel like your solution or your hackathon that you have in mind is something else than these 8 categories, write it to us on, again, contact@digieduhack.com, and we can either help you tweak that a bit or adjust your hackathon challenge idea a bit so that it is relevant to any of those 8 categories. So of course, the first thing that we suggest from you, and that we also do when we are helping you, is that we try to angle it to fit one of those existing categories. But if that doesn't happen and you have another challenge category that we could create so that yours would fit that one, we are open to that as well. So if you have an idea that is very, very relevant to digital education and we just haven't thought of it, we can create a 9th category. So if you choose the other category, your challenge will not be under another category in the end, but we will either make it one of these 8 or make it a new one. And even if we decide to tweak a bit into one of those existing ones, as said, we have 2 more years to go after this, and we can create a new challenge category for those additions. So reach out to us and let's see how we go forward. All right, how do you find your topic then? And now we mean the detailed topic, not only the broad challenge category. How do you go forward? First of all, it's important to keep the overall goal in mind. So first, of course, reflect the annual theme. Are you taking that into consideration, and is it reflected? Is it linked to a category, one of those 8 or a 9th one? But also make sure that you leave room for innovation. So even if you have a goal, you know what you want to reach through this hackathon, don't let us all know all of it yet. So leave some room for creation, out-of-the-box ideas that your participants can come up with. So focus on larger questions and more open questions. How, what, for example, instead of having a very specific question that has only one obvious answer, because that takes away from the hackathon greatness and innovativeness. How do you get inspiration? Look up some research for, let's say, technologies on education itself. See if that you find anything on that side. You can also listen to different podcasts on education overall. You can also listen to our podcast, the DigiEduHack podcast, read articles, and so on. With DigiEduHack resources, as said, we have the podcast, we have the learning opportunities webinar series, we have the website of DigiEduHack where you can read old challenge examples and so on to get some inspiration over to you. You can also leverage your networks. So ask around in your organizations, any universities that you know of, any professors, any students. What are the real problems that they are facing right now? What is something that we need a hackathon for? So you have several ways to go. When you've done this, you can also complete a challenge canvas, and I'll show you that in just a few slides. It's a canvas, an empty canvas that you can fill to help you brainstorm some ideas, some issues, some goals, some solutions, something to help you narrow down your own challenge. And of course, you can also ask us for feedback, and you know how to reach us. When you are formulating your challenge, so you already know what it is, take this into consideration when you are trying to communicate it as attractively as possible to possible participants, or why not stakeholders, sponsors, mentors, and so on. First of all, check that it is accessible. And here, start with the vocabulary that you're using. Even if you are having a technically complex hackathon, which is fine, you're focusing on a certain technology and it is required to, let's say, have some skills in that technology area, you need to have some basic skills in XR, for example. That is completely fine, but start off with a more general description and a more more easygoing vocabulary, so that even people with no skills or very, very little skills in this area can feel attracted to it and get interested and learn and actually be able to join your hackathon. So start on a general level, spark the interest of your readers, and then go a bit further into those technical details later down on the page. It's also a good idea to link any resources that you have, any, let's say, data sets or platforms of that specific tech that you can offer to your participants and so on. So have that with you as well. Readability. In addition to being easy to understand and an interesting vocabulary, we ask you to use British English as a default language. We can help with this translation if you need help, or we can brush up your English a bit and go through it and make sure that it is correct. So we do, of course, review all challenges before publishing them. So don't be scared. We will help you out there if needed. And I'll show you an example challenge page and the structure that we usually follow. So you again start more general and then go further into those details after. In addition to keeping the whole page interesting and easy to read, also highlight the value added for these participants, because we are asking people to give up their free time to come to this hackathon and focus solely on that and with a spark. So please highlight what is the value added to this specific hackathon. Any interesting resources, as we mentioned, what are the prices, and we will go through some price examples that you could offer a bit later. Are there any interesting people in the mentor pool as a jury, so on. The challenge building canvas that I quickly mentioned, this is just for your internal use if you needed to brainstorm. So this is nothing that we require that you fill in, but you can start with either the output. Is there something that you already know that you want to get out of this this hackathon? What is your dream solution? And then you can go from there. What do you need? How is the question? What kind of questions should you ask to get this solution without giving it to the participants yourself? You can also start from the impact. What is the impact that you are hoping to focus on, or so on? What is the outcome that is that means that you've reached your goal? What kind of input do you need, and what then would those participants actually come up with in the end? So you can use this however you feel, and send it to us if you want us to help you brainstorm on it after you've made your own notes. When you have your challenge idea and you've gone through all of these steps and you just want to make sure that you have everything, this is a good checklist to go through. Can you answer these questions? And again, depending on your challenge and what you want to include, not all of these may be relevant, but as a default, go through this and see that you can answer these questions easily. What is your challenge? Can you describe it in just 2 sentences? Can anyone understand it that is not within your organizations or super into the theme area that you've chosen? Does it have a catchy title and a clickable title? Why is it important? Why is it interesting? Why does there need to be a hackathon about this? Who are you inviting? Is it students? Is it teachers? Is it researchers? Who do you want to invite to come up with solutions? Are there any requirements? Do the people need to have any specific tech knowledge, or do they need to be from a certain university if you're only focusing on a certain class or university or so on? What are the resources that we will go again through a bit further later? What kind of format does the solution need to be? Are you looking for applications, prototypes, just concepts, whatever that is? Who are the solutions made for? And do we have any prices? All right, let's go through a challenge example and give you some ideas and tips on how to structure your website once you are creating it in the end. So this you can also find on the website and later to look at, but I'm just going to give you a quick run through. So start with just a general idea of the challenge area or a quick introduction to the theme that you are focusing on. What is the problem that we are trying to solve here? And also good, as you can see here, to add contact details for anyone asking questions. Then we go into the challenge itself, the two-liner. So what specifically are we hoping to find a solution for? What is the challenge? To come up with a solution for this, to come up with an application, so on, so on. It's also good to include the requirements here. So we have, of course, the overall DigiEdu requirements of accessibility and ethical use and so on. Doesn't hurt to have them there, but do you have anything specific there? Any tech that they need to know, or any geographic area, or whatever you choose? It is up to you, but please include that so that it's clear to everyone who can join. Available support. This, of course, is an important part. How are you there to help these teams out or your participants out? You can, of course, here highlight the skills and expertise of your mentor pool, and the mentors will be introduced a bit later. What kind of expertise, what kind of experts will they be able to network and work with? What kind of materials do you have? These could be articles, or again, links to open data sets or closed data sets that you can give them access to, or whatever the case may be. And we also suggest that you provide a guide to all of your participants, and we will have a separate coaching call about this, so no need to stress about that now. We will help you out, but just a guide so that participants can have everything important in a nutshell in one file for them. And this can be downloaded here as well. Then we can add the schedule of your own hackathon. Again, here you're free to choose if you do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you do only 24 hours straight, but please make sure to communicate this, specifically now that we are hosting several different hackathons under the same project. You can decide on the agenda yourself, and again, we will have a event day planning coaching call as well, where we go through some example agendas, so no need to think about that now. But what we can think about is having the mentors and judges presented on your hackathon page as well, since that's usually a very good incentive for participants to join and get to network and learn from experts within the area of your own hackathon. So you can have a picture and a LinkedIn, or just the core skills written down here, and so on, for both mentors and jury members. There we go. And lastly, a list of the prizes that you are offering. Is it monetary prizes? And if you have monetary prizes, how are those divided? Is it just for the top team? Is it already decided if it's a specific amount for the first, second, and third grand winner? Is it just a prize pool? Anything works. Monetary prizes that are not cash per se, so tickets or any merch maybe that is given out to top teams? Is it mentoring? Is it something else? I will give you a few tips, or hopefully a lot of tips on possible prizes in a few slides, but there is always something that you can give out. And even though we are hoping that participants not only join because of the prizes, it's an important incentive to know that they get something in return and they have something to actually strive for. So this is what an event page might look like. And I'm saying it already, even though I'll say it later as well. Don't be scared. You don't need to code a whole web page yourself. We will have a coaching call about how to set up your web page, and it is fairly easy. You follow our instructions and fill in some fields, and it is created for you. So no need to make sure that you get all the visual things done from scratch yourself. So, target outcomes. What do you want to see from your event? This is good to think about when you're crafting your event, and always go back to this target outcome while you are crafting more parts of your challenge. Does this help your target outcome? Do you think that by asking this question, you might get a solution that helps the target outcome and helps you reach that? So always take these things in consideration when you are communicating and creating new things to your challenge. So what kind of solutions are you looking for? We've gone through this a few times, so I'm not going to go more into that, but always have that clear. And even if it's clear to you, might not be clear to everyone. So have that clearly communicated. What would be an ideal outcome for a winning solution? This could be your ideal outcome. If you have any stakeholders or partners, you could ask them for ideal outcomes to have a few, maybe to give out as inspiration of potential solution examples or whatever. But what's the ideal outcome that you're looking for, and how can you form a question again that answers that? Important, since you can do any format you want, and you can have any deliverables as you want. What shape should the deliverable have in this hackathon in order to be evaluated? Is it a pitch? Is it just a slide deck? Is it just a prototype? How do you want to do it? And keep that aligned to your topic and communicate this as well. You can decide to do a pitch of X minutes and so on, but make sure that the participants know what they are getting into and know what the final solution should be presented, or how it should be presented. And of course, give out resources if relevant and when relevant, and make sure that whatever you are asking the teams to deliver can be done in only 24 hours. And here you have some examples as well. All right, target audience then. Who are we looking for? Based on the target outcomes and the challenge itself, who do you want to attract? What kind of skills, what kind of knowledge, what kind of profiles basically are you looking for here? And make sure to use that in your communication, and again when setting up your challenge. You can think of demographics as mentioned here. And of course, you don't need to have only students. You can be students and startups and professionals, and you can scale it however you want, but be clear with it. Finally, my prizes page. What can you offer to your local hackathon, to your local participants? Prizes can be presented in so many different ways, which is why we want to make sure that you actually do your best to have some attractive prices to your participants. It can be monetary prices, and here, as said, we're talking cash pool, predefined cash prices for predefined winning slots. Of course, the bigger the prize money, the more interest, but that doesn't stop there. You can have so many different other prizes as well. You can give out exclusive swag, as said here, maybe some tech. It can be sets, or let's say smartphones or cameras that are relevant for your topic. Maybe you have someone on board in your partner network that can provide this. And also, if you want to take everyone into consideration and have a participation award for every team, you can do that as well. So regardless of who wins, everyone gets a small share of the prize pool just for participating. You can also give out other opportunities. Maybe it's a trip, maybe it's a trip to go somewhere and pitch the final solution or the winning solution. Maybe it is an internship that you can offer, or just a push to the last steps of the interview for the internship, or so on. Any specific networking opportunities in addition to the networking opportunities with the mentors and jury members, of course. Any visibility, are you going to, how will they be streamed or shown online that they have won, or what kind of visibility can you offer? So these are, of course, if it's a trip, it's a monetary in some way, but it's not strictly a monetary price. What kind of resources do you have available? Do you have a lab that they could get access to? Do you have a platform that they could get, let's say, a year worth of access to, whatever it can be? So any opportunities that you can provide to your winners. If these are not possible for you, we go to human resources. What you can offer is resources and support for your participants. So you already have so many impressive mentors, many impressive judges, maybe many impressive partners in your hackathon project that can be there and network and help your participants. And even with that nonstop support, they can elevate their projects so much in 24 hours, and that itself can be a very, very valuable prize. So maybe the winners can get mentoring after from these mentors to have their project further developed, or whatever the case may be. And remember to use your sponsors if you have any on board, and we will have a coaching call for how to find and how to approach and score some partners to your hackathon. Use those. Of course, they're there to get visibility for themselves to your participants. Maybe they have something that they can give out, some giveaways, some merch, anything that you can think of. So don't be scared. Any prizes are good, and if you need help with brainstorming on this, you can always reach out to us as well. If you haven't registered yet, as said, it's never too late to do so, or at least not yet. So join as a host, and now you know how to create your own hackathon challenge, or if you've created it, how to improve it. The next thing that you need to do is to upload your challenge and send it to us. And as said, you're not alone in that. You don't need to be scared that you are coding a whole website yourself. So we don't want to scare you there. It's an easy thing to do, and you very easily get your own challenge page for your own local hackathon. If you need help with this, reach out to us. And of course, you can just simply stay stay interested a week and tune in on our next coaching call. That will be next Wednesday, same time. And we go through step by step, how do you create your challenge page? And as I already said, when you create your challenge page, we will still review it and get back to you if we need to make some tweaks and so on. So nothing goes live without us, the DigiEduHack Central team, being notified and aware. So we are all in this together. Without further ado, I thank you for the second coaching call. Stay tuned for coming calls on the coming week. And reach out if you need help, and you can find all the materials in the description here and also on the DigiEduHack website.